You've probably heard a lot about Epic Universe, the newest theme park coming to Universal Orlando in 2025. But all that random information can be a lot to take in. What will Universal's new park really be like? Today, I'm taking you on a virtual tour so that you know what to really expect. To help us with this, one of our amazing graphic designers on our team has put together a map of Epic Universe. Yes, Universal doesn't have one yet, but we do here at AllEars. So you're gonna be able to see exactly what the park layout is going to look like. We built this map using resources like permits that have been filed for the park, the model at the Epic Universe Preview Center, photos from Orlando area pilots like BioReconstruct, and Universal's released concept art and videos. So without further ado, let's step through the gates of Epic Universe. When you walk through the gates of Epic Universe, you are walking through this guy. This is kind of what it will look like when you walk into the park entrance. This is the Epic Universe portal that takes you into the park. It's not gonna have these little medallions. It's kind of a fun, spirally moving thing. It's called the Kronos. This is my Kronos, and I love him. But you'll walk into the entrance of the park and you'll find yourself in the central land of Epic Universe. Epic Universe is kind of a modification of the wheel and spoke park layout. So think like Magic Kingdom, where you have the central hub with Cinderella Castle and then spokes off to the other lands. With Epic Universe, each land is separated from Celestial Park with a portal, and those portals are all super themed to the land. When you walk through those portals, you're walking into this other world. The other thing that those portals do is allow Universal to section off the park a little bit easier than something like Magic Kingdom, because you can just section off the portal. When you walk into Epic Universe, you are walking up to Neptune Pool. This is a massive water feature area in the middle of Epic Universe. It is not a pool that you can swim in. Whoever was asking, I see you. I see you. Celestial Park's general theme is kind of galactic, a universe, a space theme, a little bit of a mythology theme, and Neptune Pool kind of adds the ambiance, the park feel of this. I think Celestial Park is supposed to be sort of where you can relax, get a little space. There are rides, there are lots of restaurants, but it's gonna be where a lot of the nighttime entertainment is. It's gonna be where there's a lot of green space, a lot of water space, splash pads, things like that. Space where you can get a little space, and it's space themed. When you think Celestial Park, think space. Now heading into Celestial Park, there's this statue of this cool guy, but we've got buildings kind of on right either side of the park entrance. Likely what this is going to be is things like your stroller rental, bathrooms, last minute retail, that kind of thing are all gonna be in these buildings right there. Guest services, first aid, stuff that you know is at park entrance is probably gonna be in these buildings connected to the Kronos. Once you get inside, there's a big building on the right in permits that we haven't quite identified. We think this is likely going to be a major retail location, probably the main Epic Universe retail location right by the park entrance. On the left is where things start to get interesting because we have Atlantic. This is the first restaurant we're going to talk about in Epic Universe. Atlantic will be a full service restaurant, and inside you'll find glass walls reminiscent of an enormous Victorian aquarium. You'll be able to see starfish dwelling peacefully with serene, illuminated fish swimming above you in the ceiling. In the ceiling! The plan for the menu is exceptional seafood and steaks, and you can get a crafted cocktail at the Aquaria Bar. A fun fact about Atlantic is that the decorative fish that line the ceiling are surrounded by these metallic curtains that will shimmer as they sway to really give you the sense that you're underwater. I am excited to eat there. We're gonna continue through all of Celestial Park before we pop into the portals. There's a lot to see in Celestial Park. So continuing forward, on the right side of Celestial Park, there are a number of little structures. I'm thinking little retail stands, little snack stands, little drink stands, that kind of thing. And past those snack stands is where we're gonna find the entrance to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, which we will go into in detail. Continuing on, we're gonna find the main attraction, literally, of Celestial Park, and that is Stardust Racers. Stardust Racers is a roller coaster attraction. It will have a minimum height of 48 inches, and this is a dual launch coaster reading speeds up to 62 miles per hour. For reference, Velocicoaster goes up to about 70 miles per hour, so this is on the upper end of coaster speeds. It'll also go up to heights of about 133 feet. Velocicoaster goes up to about 150, so again, pretty close to that upper end for Universal coasters. And one of the main features of this coaster will be an inverted crisscross known as the Celestial Spin, which as far as I can describe, the coaster is going to go like this. You know? Expect the coaster to feature dazzling displays of color and ethereal music. And perhaps the coolest thing about this coaster is that at night, the track will not be illuminated. So the coaster cars will be the only thing that is lit, and those cars will rocket past looking like shooting stars in the sky. Moving a little bit further, we're gonna find Meteor Astropub. Now this actually is not a confirmed name. We do know there's gonna be a Meteor restaurant in the model for Epic Universe at the Preview Center. It's actually called Cafe Meteor, but they have trademarked the name Meteor Astropub. So we're not quite sure what this is gonna be named yet, but it is going to be some kind of bar and accompanying restaurant. They'll be located just outside of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. So Ministry of Magic, that land is gonna be entered right here in the back corner. And of course, we'll go very into detail about what to expect in the Wizarding World. Then the back of Celestial Park is going to feature the Universal Grand Helios Hotel. That is that massive hotel that is gonna be located right in the very back. This is a hotel that enters directly into the park, similar to the Fantasy Springs Hotel that we just saw added to Fantasy Springs in Tokyo Disney, which if you wanna see more about that, you can check out our video on the channel. This is a luxury hotel. It will sit right there, right on the back of Constellation Park. And we, of course, will be doing a full tour of this hotel when it opens, so keep an eye on the channel for that. Now, just in front of the Universal Grand Helios Hotel is going to be a main feature of this park, and that is where you'll see the fountain shows. All through Celestial Park, there are these fountains that shoot high in the sky, and Universal has confirmed that there will be fountain shows in the evening using these fountains as a colorful array of exciting shows. The concept art also has fireworks, so I'm wondering if the fountain shows will include a little bit of pyrotechnics as well. Connected to the Helios Grand Hotel is a restaurant called the Blue Dragon Pan-Asian Restaurant, which I think is the restaurant I'm most excited for in Celestial Park. This is a full-service restaurant where you can step into a bustling courtyard where it's always evening under the glow of ethereal lanterns. So it's one of those outside-inside restaurants. I love this. I love when you go in a building and you're in the nighttime. I can't wait. Expect to enjoy authentic Pan-Asian cuisine and an environment with neon dragons chasing by the walls, and you can even get a cocktail at the Tiger Bar. And something I cannot wait to look for and show you all is that the signs around the restaurant will feature Easter eggs pointing to other elements of Celestial Park. So I'm very excited to look for that. Now, we're passing by the Dark Universe portal around here. That Dark Universe portal is gonna be across from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And then we have another restaurant. This is Oak and Star Tavern. Oak and Star is expected to be a barbecue quick service spot. So lots of dining in Celestial Park, tons of dining, which I think is awesome just because it gives you like a good place, again, to get some space in space.
This is done.
But we're not done in Celestial Park just yet. Just next to the main fountain show pads, we'll find Astronomica, which is a splash pad for kiddos. It looks pretty big too, and it looks really fun. So I think this is awesome because in the heat of an Orlando summer, there's nothing your kid will love more than the splash pad. You'll be like, hey, look, a dragon. And your kid will be like, yeah, but can we go back to the splash pad? And that splash pad is right next to Constellation Carousel. Constellation Carousel is the other attraction here in Celestial Park. Basically, with this ride, you'll be able to ride the constellations themselves. It's a carousel with a couple of twists. First of all, instead of horses, you've got celestial lions, dragons, peacocks, things like that. And each of the little carriages can lift riders up to 6 feet in the air and rotate 360 degrees. I think this is gonna be really fun. I'm imagining it's still gonna be pretty slow like a carousel. I don't think it's gonna be like speedier like a teacups ride. So I'm really excited to experience this. And our fun fact for this one is that the ceiling of Constellation Carousel is a star tracker that will feature rotating celestial star patterns with a center mesmerizer creating a ribbon cone effect above you while you ride. I don't know what any of that means. I know what a star tracker is, but a ribbon cone effect. I'm interested. A mesmerizer? I love being mesmerized. Now, when you're on Constellation Carousel, you are pretty darn close to the portal to Super Nintendo World. And just to the right of that entrance, we have a pretty big building, which is the Nintendo Superstar Store. This is the big Nintendo store. Inside Super Nintendo World, there's not a lot of room, so that there is some retail in Super Nintendo World. This is the big store where you can really get your shop on for Nintendo merch. We're talking apparel, sundries, toys, souvenirs, collectibles, gifts, jewelry. That's everything they've listed on the website. And also in this building is Pizza Moon, which is a quick service pizza spot. Theme park puffy pizza, we think? Perhaps. Maybe they'll spice it up. Maybe it'll be like thin crust or Chicago deep dish. That would be unhinged. If there was like a theme park pizza stop and it was just Chicago deep dish, that would be wild. And that is Celestial Park. So let's get into those lands, which I know is what we all really want to talk about. This is technically a dinosaur, but it's the closest thing I had to like a dragon head. We're talking about How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk first. Okay. How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. This is not comfortable. This is a How to Train Your Dragon themed land where you'll be able to fly with dragons, meet dragons, explore. It's going to be so much fun. It looks so adorable from what we've seen so far. And it's got an incredible show coming that is a show you can see at Universal Studios Japan that I cannot wait to see. But lots to unpack in this land. I'm going to dive right in. Right when you walk in, you are looking at a little water area, like a lagoon sort of area. This is going to really bring you into the world of Isle of Berk, where you're seeing the water features and the mountains, lots of like hand-painted, Viking-inspired details. Right on your left as you walk in, you will find the Viking training camp. This is a play area where little kiddos can discover all types of dragons in a huge, colorful, interactive play area. This spot will include multiple towers you can climb, a fun agility course, Viking drums and chimes to play. Kids love making noise. And an interactive sheep launcher game. I wrote these notes. I don't know why I'm surprised. But I think I was surprised when I wrote the notes too. Interactive sheep launcher game. That sounds wild. Plus, of course, slides and activities for the youngest of Vikings. I am sure that I'm going to be too old to experience the Viking training camp in all its glory, and that is something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. Next door, we believe we have Hooligans, Grog, and Gruel. This is a racing-themed food stand where you can grab, well, Grog and Gruel. Probably just little snackier items and some drinks that you can get here right next to Viking training camp. That, I think, is a tactic to soften the blow for the adults who probably won't be able to experience Viking training camp to the fullest. And you know what? I'll take it. Now, in the lagoon, we're gonna find Fire Drill. Fire Drill is another attraction where Viking twins Roughnut and Toughnut have transformed Berk's fire school into a watery, interactive boat battle at sea. So you will board your boat and blast water cannons at targets that look like little flames as if you're putting out fires. And of course, you can shoot the occupants of other boats too. So water ride, expect to get soaked. There is an attraction that I believe uses the exact same ride system as this at Legoland, which you can see in our Legoland Perfect Day video. And I got so soaked when I wrote it for science to learn about Isle of Berk. I got so soaked to the bone. Looking out over Fire Drill is going to be one of our restaurants, and that is going to be Spitfire Grill. Spitfire Grill is going to be a quick service spot, flame seared meals. I'm kind of imagining like skewers is going to be the vibe here. I hope so, because I really like meat on a stick. So hopefully skewers. Now, after you're done looking at Fire Drill in the lagoon, we've got two other major attractions right next to the Viking training camp. The first is Dragon Racers Rally, which is a minimum height requirement of 48 inches. And this is a dragon riding training machine that has been developed where you can practice aerobatic maneuvers and high-speed barrel rolls. This looks scary. Looks like a very thrilling attraction. So it looks like it's going to be pretty fun. I'm a little scared of this one. But you are basically in a chair and it's just going to be swooping all around. Pretty scary. Now the star of this area of the park is going to be Hiccup's Wing Gliders. This is the major roller coaster that will be located in the How to Train Your Dragon area. Minimum height requirement is going to be 40 inches, and this is a ride where Hiccup has built something in his workshop, a new contraption, which is a winged flying machine to simulate dragon riding. I don't really know how I feel about this because the rides in this land don't let you actually ride a dragon. You are riding dragon riding training activities, which I kind of don't like because I want to ride a dragon. But I kind of do like because I think it's more immersive because you'll still see dragons flying through the air, you'll see dragons walking around, but on these rides, you're not riding a static version of those dragons, which is more immersive. As you fly through Isle of Berk on Hiccup's Wing Gliders, you will encounter Hiccup and Toothless, and the point is to prove that you're brave enough to soar through the sky on the backs of dragons. Also, apparently you will see a Gronkle eggshell when you're on this ride, and it weighs about as much as 84 large chicken eggs, which I know you were curious about. In the center of the land, we have the Mead Hall. This is the biggest dining location in Isle of Berk. It is going to be a quick service location where you will walk into a grand chamber hewn from mountain rock, where Vikings feast on a hearty menu that will include meat, fish, sandwiches, and desserts. You'll also find some exciting beverages like assorted meads, ciders, and ales. And this stands as the village's main gathering place when you're in this land, and it has these massive entrance doors that are 16 feet and 7 inches tall. We've got one more major attraction to talk about in Isle of Berk, which I am so pumped about, but first I want to talk a little bit about meet and greets. So there will be the Haddock Paddock, which will be the main meet and greet location where you'll find Hiccup and Toothless. But also, as you stroll around Berk, you might meet some of your other favorite Vikings and dragons. And perhaps the coolest thing that Universal has said is that you may even catch a glimpse of dragons flying high above the village. And testing for this has already been seen around Orlando with dragons flying through the sky. I'm gonna cry. If I see a dragon flying through the sky, I'm gonna cry. I was the dragon kid. I had the Dragonology book, you know the one. And I loved dragons. I love dragons now. I think they're so cool. So I'm going to be really excited to see a real dragonfly or a real dragonfly. I just want to see a dragonfly, not a dragonfly. I'm actually scared of dragonflies, but I'm excited to see a dragon fly. Our final attraction in Isle of Berk, that what I've been talking about, is the Untrainable Dragon. This is a stage show. It's actually a very famous stage show from the Universal Studios Japan park, where you will see an action show, comedy, music. The plot is that when a new dragon shows up on the Isle of Berk, the Vikings think they have finally met their match. Hiccup and Toothless, with help from Gobber and Astrid, work together to solve the mystery of the untrainable dragon. It is a music-filled, heartwarming live show, and at one point during the show, a toothless puppet soars above the audience, and this puppet is massive, with a wingspan of 27 feet. It weighs over 1,100 pounds. I'm so excited. I love puppetry, and that's a major crux of the Untrainable Dragon. So this show, I think, is going to be spectacular and extremely popular, especially with younger kids. And that's Isle of Berk. So let's move on to what I know many of you are most excited about, and that is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. Feels wrong to have said the name of the land in a dinosaur hat, so I have on my Slytherin robe now. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic is the third installment in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter attractions. There is one at Universal Studios, one at Universal Islands of Adventure, and now one at Epic Universe. You'll be entering Wizarding Paris as seen in the Fantastic Beasts film, and the main attraction will take you through the Floo Network to London to visit the Ministry of Magic. Let's talk about what you'll see when you enter this land. Right when you walk in, you will find yourself in the streets of Wizarding Paris with the Art Nouveau style and totally transported into this land. Right on the left as you enter, you'll find the Café L'Air de la Sirène, which is a quick service French cafe. So you can dine inside or outside, just like you would in a real French cafe in actual Paris. Expect to find French baked goods, sandwiches, the plats du jour, and desserts. Of course, you'll be able to quench your thirst with butterbeer, along with a variety of non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks, including beer, cocktails, and French wines. I'm really hoping for some new Wizarding non-alcoholic drinks. And alcoholic, I guess. But there are some really amazing signature drinks in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I would love for that to be expanded. One of the staples of the decorations in this cafe will be towering dessert displays, including one constructed of almost 2,000 decorative individual cream puffs. Speaking of butterbeer, there will be a butterbeer cart, of course. It's the Wizarding World. What are we going to do about butterbeer cart? So you will have many options to get butterbeer. It, of course, will be called the French butterbeer, so it's going to be called the Bière au beurre cart. Probably. There are a number of retail experiences in this land, including Caramel and Les Galeries Mirifiques, but perhaps the most exciting retail location is going to be Cosme Acazur Baguettes Magiques. I hope I'm doing okay. I took 10 years of French. This is going to be the magic wand shop. Baguettes Magiques means magic wand. Yes, baguette means wand. But this shop is going to be where you'll find some of the world's finest wands designed by esteemed artisan and wand maker Cosme Acazur. So this will be the wand shop. I don't know that any new wands will be released. Perhaps like Epic Universe wands. Yeah, I don't know. But this is going to be where you'll find all the character wands, the interactive wands. And yes, you will be able to do magic all through this land. There are interactive magic spots through both of the existing Wizarding Worlds of Harry Potter, and that will not be stopping with this new land, where you can take your magic wands. Why don't I have my wand right now? Yes, I am in sweatpants. If you ever see me filming a video from home, I'm in sweatpants. But you can use your interactive magic wands to cast magic all around the Ministry of Magic land. A fun fact about the wand shop is that there is going to be a massive chandelier crafted of over 800 crystal wands and adorned with brass pixies. So that sounds really cool. Now we've also got a couple more bar locations. We have Bar Moonshine and Le Gobelet Noir. Neither of those are fully confirmed, but they are speculated to be in this land, and there's just lots of space for them to exist. So those will likely be smaller bar-focused or snack-focused locations. Think things like the Fountain of Fair Fortune in the existing Wizarding World or the Hogshead. The main show in this land is going to be Le Cirque Arcanus, which is a magical circus. You might remember magical circus being pretty prevalent in the Fantastic Beasts film, so I think that's kind of where this is coming from. But basically, in this portion of the story, in an attempt to bring the Cirque Arcanus back to its former glory, Ringmaster Skinder has stolen Newt Scamander's suitcase, which contains fantastic beasts from around the globe. So it's up to circus employee Gwynlyn to rescue the creatures in a spectacular mix of live performers, amazing puppetry, dazzling special effects, and more. And on the way to the stage, guests will be able to explore the strange and unusual acts of Le Cirque Arcanus with sideshow booths. So I think this is going to be really neat, just like a magical circus, encountering magical creatures. Another one that I think will be really kid-friendly because you've got all the fun, fuzzy, magical creatures. I assume we'll get to see a Niffler, you know? But of course, the crown jewel of the Ministry of Magic Land is Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, the newest major e-ticket Harry Potter attraction to join the Universal Orlando lineup. This attraction will have a minimum height requirement of 40 inches, and you will travel via Metro Flu from Paris to the British Ministry of Magic, where none other than Dolores Umbridge is about to stand trial. So yes, we get to take flu powder, we get to fight Dolores Umbridge. We've all wanted to fight Dolores Umbridge. She's like one of the most hateable characters of all time. You'll board a lift and join Harry, Ron, and Hermione to journey into the Ministry's many different departments. Expect to see thrilling adventure, fantastic beast, and unexplored mystery in Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. This is going to be a really cool ride. I cannot wait to see it. I'm expecting it to be a bit like Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, which is obviously wildly successful. But of course, some years have gone by, so that means newer tech and better ride, we hope. Excited to see it. Now, in true Ministry fashion, both the queue and the attraction spaces are covered by tiles. The Metro Flu alone has over 80,000 subway tiles, and the British Ministry of Magic spaces have over 125,000 of the iconic Ministry tiles. It's a lot of tiles. And that is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. So where are we headed next? Only to my favorite land, the land I'm most excited about. Costume change. Dark Universe! Dark Universe, baby. I'm so excited for Dark Universe. Now, this land is themed to classic Universal monsters. We're talking Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Van Helsing family. That's what we're getting here. So you will walk into this spooky village area that has been plagued by these classic Universal monsters. I'm so excited! Right when you walk in, on your right, you will find Das Steakhouse, which is the first of the restaurants. Das Steakhouse is going to be a quick service restaurant, and I love the story of this restaurant because it's kind of shrouded in mystery, this place. It's an old inn and dining hall built over the ruins of ancient catacombs, which, as we all know, is exactly where you want to build things, tends to go well in spooky settings. But here you'll find that you can enjoy a meal surrounded by vampire artwork and artifacts. And the restaurant is even run by vampire familiars, which are vampire servants, if you're unfamiliar with the vampire lore. It does have this note on the website that says, just don't venture down to the catacombs below, or you might find yourself on the vampires menu. So I'm wondering how that'll be incorporated. It would be really cool if there was like a themed area of the catacombs, but at the minimum, I'm going to be really excited to see like little areas where it's like, do not go here, you will get vampired. A fun note about the paintings at Das Steakhouse is that the paintings depict the world of vampires from their point of view. So we'll have them as the heroes in their stories while portraying some of Darkmoor's history and referencing its architecture. Darkmoor being the spooky village that the land is located in. Speaking of Darkmoor, just across from Das Steakhouse, you're going to find the main retail location, and this is likely where we'll find the home of the Darkmoor Monster makeup experience. This is so cool because it's basically like the Princess Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique makeovers, except you get turned into monsters. And anyone can do it, grown-ups included. So I'm so sorry for the videos you are going to see where I look like a vampire. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's gonna be a lot. I'm really excited about this. I'll do other ones. I'll do more than just the vampire, but like, you know, I'm gonna do the vampire a lot. I love Dracula. Basically, for the Darkmoor makeup experience, you will be entering into Dr. Pretorius's old lab that has been converted into a parlor to continue the spirit of his demented experiments. Here, skilled artisans use their talents to experiment on customers and release their inner love of universal monsters, be they werewolves, vampires, mummies, or something even more fashionably monstrous. So pretty pumped. There's going to be lots of options for the makeup that you can get done here, and I think it's just a fun way to get really immersed in Darkmoor. Now, these Darkmoor monsters are going to be original creations from industry-leading and award-winning makeup and special effects artists. So the actual designs of this is going to be really high quality. Very pumped to see. I do think that when we saw the monster makeup experience at Universal last year, that was probably a test for this. So it's going to be an exciting addition. Now, before we walk back to the back of this pavilion to talk about the attractions, I do want to note that you will be able to meet some of the monsters of Dark Universe wandering around. Darkmoor Village has many inhabitants, including Frankenstein's monster and his bride, Igor the Invisible Man, but how are we going to see him? A courageous monster hunter, and even a musician who might regale you with some songs about the village. So when you see these wandering characters, please feel free to say hello and take photos with them. And it does say you never know who or what may be lurking in the shadows. Dracula! Give me Dracula! Please! I want to meet Dracula. I've met Dracula at Universal Hollywood, which you can see in our Universal Hollywood video, and it made me very nervous because I'm just a really big fan of Dracula. All right, continuing back, let's go ahead and talk about Curse of the Werewolf. This is not the biggest attraction in the land. The biggest attraction we're gonna hit on, don't worry. But Curse of the Werewolf is gonna be our outdoor roller coaster in this land. Minimum height of 40 inches. This is a bit of a family coaster that does have a story to it. The story is that Maleva, the leader of the Guild of Mystics, is welcoming you to her secluded wagon camp, which is where you'll be warned of the creatures that prowl the woods. It's werewolves. Spoiler alert, it's werewolves. When you're on the ride, you'll be careening through the forest, spinning and weaving. These coaster cars do fully spin, and you'll be surrounded by glowing eyes, gnashing teeth, trying to escape a pack of werewolves. I think this is really cool. I hope that we get to see werewolves, and it's not just like spooky teeth gnashing, glowing eyes. I want to see a werewolf, which I bet we will. I hope we will. It does go inside a part of it. I'm excited. I think this is going to be pretty fun. But if you can't tell, I'm pretty pumped for all of this. There's like not a single aspect of Epic Universe that I'm like, well, Right next to that, we have what is actually going to be kind of the centerpiece of Epic Universe, which is the Burning Blade Tavern. This is another quick service location, but it's probably the outside that most people are going to find more exciting, because this is an old mill that has a windmill outside of it that periodically will erupt into flames several times an hour. And Universal has even said they're using 2 different types of fuel so that the flame can be seen well both in the day and in the night. This is basically like the dragon in Gringotts, which, as you may have known if you've ever been to the Wizarding World in Universal Studios, people stand in Diagon Alley and stare at that dragon like the whole day, wanting for it to breathe fire. So I think this is going to be another one of those kinds of things. Inside, you'll find that this is where Darkmoor's monster hunters have transformed into their hangouts. Monster Hunter Hangout? I want to hang out with monster hunters. I also want to hang out with the monsters. Don't tell each of them that I'm hanging out with the other, but I'm going to hang out with both. As you eat from a menu of burgers, wings, bratwurst, pretzels, and beverages, you can also discover a bit more of the story of the monster hunters around Darkmoor. Frankenstein fans, I've got good news for you, and that is that just next to that location, you'll find DeLacy's Cottage. DeLacy's Cottage is where Frankenstein's monster finds refuge in the book. I've read Frankenstein, I've read Dracula. I didn't love Frankenstein. I'm sorry, I know that's a popular one. I did love Dracula, as you might have guessed, but I still like Frankenstein, and his vibes, Frankenstein's monster and his vibes, you know? But this spot is going to have ice cream, cinnamon bread, and even twisted taters, which is a famous snack that they serve at Halloween Horror Nights, and typically only for special events at Universal Orlando. So now it'll be always available at DeLacy's Cottage. And now we'll talk about Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment. This is the star attraction in Dark Universe, and it looks like it's going to be the ride system that we have with Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, the ride in Hogwarts Castle, where you sit on a bench, and that bench is on an arm, which is on the track. So the arm moves along the track and then the bench can swivel at the top while you're moving along the track. That's what it looks like. Now that is a very motion sickness inducing ride, but it's been many years at this point, more than a decade since that ride opened, so hopefully there have been some advancements and there's a little less motion sickness vibes on this one. Especially because this, when it first opened and even now, is like an unbelievable ride system. It feels so cool and immersive. The minimum height for this ride will be 48 inches, and the story goes that Dr. Victoria Frankenstein is continuing the work of her ancestors deep below the family estate. A demonstration of her experiments to control monsters goes awry when Dracula leads a revolt of enraged monsters, including the Wolfman, the Mummy, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and more. All the monsters teaming up to go up against Victoria Frankenstein. I think this is going to be an incredible story, so exciting, and Universal has said their scariest ride ever. I love scary stuff. I can't wait. Fun fact about this ride is that the Phantom of the Opera's organ that sits within Monsters Unchained features 14 individual flame points that shoot vertical flames over 3 feet in the air and dance with the organ music. This is going to be so cool. This whole land is going to be so cool. For now, we will say goodbye to my beloved Dark Universe because we've got to move on to another one that I think a lot of folks are pretty pumped about, and that is Super Nintendo World. I got my Luigi hat for this. I'm as Mario. I met Dracula wearing this hat, and when I met him, he said, "Hello, Luigi," which was very funny. Hello, Luigi. I don't think Dracula likes Luigi very much. You might have seen Super Nintendo World before. There is a Super Nintendo World in Universal Japan and in Universal California. So finally, Orlando is getting one of our very own. The difference is, ours is bigger. There's more at this one. We've got kind of 2 lands in one at our Super Nintendo World. So we'll go into both, starting with Super Mario Land. Super Mario Land is going to be what you think of when you think Super Nintendo World that you've seen. This is going to be that Mario-themed land with Yoshi and the Piranha Plants and power-ups and Toadstool Cafe and places to collect coins and power-ups around the land, all those games. That's what you're gonna get in Super Mario Land. Now, right when you walk in, you'll walk in under Peach's Castle. That's gonna be the facade for the entrance of the land. So you'll walk through and into Peach's Castle. Walk out of Peach's Castle and you'll be totally immersed in a Super Nintendo land. Just out and about in the land, you'll be able to play with the power-up bands. Emma and I do have a power-up band. I think she has it, but we have power-up bands, and that allows you to track your game progress throughout the land. So when you play the different interactive games, such as the Piranha Plant game, or one that you might have seen Emma and I play in our Universal Hollywood video, we have to run around and stop the alarms before they go off. Your points and your progress will be tracked in that band, and you'll be able to track that progress through the app as well. Of course, you'll also be able to do meet and greets with Mario and friends, including Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad, and more around Super Nintendo World. I wish we could meet Bowser. That'd be crazy. Retail in this land, remember, in addition to the really big Mario store right outside the land, is going to include One Up Factory, which is it's really geared towards those power-up bands, but there's a lot of Nintendo merchandise in there. Then there's also Mario Motors, and there's likely going to be a little bit of a retail stand in the other Mario area as well. Mario Motors is the exit through retail for the Mario Kart ride, so Mario Kart themed merchandise and just more generic Nintendo merchandise. The point is, plenty of areas to shop. Of course, this land does have Toadstool Cafe. This is a quick service restaurant where you can watch Chef Toad cooking up some of his favorite recipes and even see playful scenes of the Mushroom Kingdom outside the window. Expect a menu of soups, salads, sandwiches, plus entrees and desserts. Emma and I did eat at the Toadstool Cafe in Universal Hollywood in that video, so if you want to see our full review of our meal there, you can go there. I do have a Toad bowl that I got, like a souvenir bowl that looks like Toad, which had the mushroom soup in it, which was really good, so I imagine the mushroom soup will be coming. Then one of the attractions is going to be Yoshi's Adventure. This has a minimum height of 34 inches and is an indoor and outdoor attraction where you ride with Yoshis and search for glowing eggs in an enchanting family-style attraction. Find yourself weaving through Mushroom Kingdom landscapes, encountering familiar characters, and spotting hidden colored eggs along your journey. Ride looks super cute. We can actually see it in some of the aerial photos we found, and you can see the little Yoshis that you'll ride in. The star attraction that has been open in Japan and California is Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. This ride has a minimum height requirement of 40 inches. It is a combination of a 3D and 4D experience. And on the ride, you wear these special goggles so that you can steer through iconic Mario Kart courses alongside Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach. It is an interactive ride where you can collect digital coins and throw shells to try to defeat Team Bowser and win the Golden Cup. It does have multiple outcomes, so it can be a different experience every time you ride. But now let's move into part 2 of Super Nintendo World, which is Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, that's right. Our Super Nintendo World is getting a Donkey Kong themed area, all centered around a Donkey Kong ride. Now, this area is going to have some food and beverage offerings, as well as more of those key challenges and power-up band games that you can find up in the front. But the main attraction in the Donkey Kong area is Mine Cart Madness. Mine Cart Madness has a minimum height requirement of 36 inches, and in the ride, it is up to you to help Donkey Kong protect the Golden Banana. So you'll enter into the Golden Temple, board a minecart, and take off on a thrilling family coaster. You'll speed through the mine, and you'll even appear to jump across gaps in the track. The way they've accomplished this is that there's like a fake track and a real track, or they're both real tracks, but your car is on the upper level track, and there's another car on the lower level track that is connected to your car via an arm, and as you go, that arm will lift you over the gaps in the track. It's the future. That's wild that we can do that. It'll of course be very reminiscent of the Donkey Kong video games, so another very nostalgic option here. Anyway, that's Epic Universe. 5 new lands and room to expand. There are already expansion paths built into the theme park for more to come in the years ahead of us. And of course, when Epic Universe opens next year, which is now apparently could be as soon as Memorial Day weekend in May, we will be there showing you every inch of the land. So stay tuned to All Ears. I'm making it my mission to become the Epic Universe expert. Stick with me and we're gonna be able to conquer Epic Universe for the years to come. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And now go watch Emma and I experience Universal Hollywood. I'll see you there.